All have sinned and come short of the glory of God. And with that being said, it does not give us a ticket to sin. It's not a trampoline to sin. It's not for you or I to bobsled through sin. That's not what it is. But it's something that we must know. There's no one who is without sin, no one who is without fault, no one who does not have something in them. Even if it's not something that's evident that everyone can see, sometimes it's just pride. The way we look at people or look down on other people. Pride is one of the 7 sins that God hates. You may not be going around a whoring, but you're a liar. You may not physically go out and sleep with anyone, but you are imagining those things. You may wear the longest skirt, but there's a lot of heat under that skirt. You may walk around looking like a miserable and a very humble deacon. But your mind is filthy. God sees it. And there are people who goes out there and they're complaining. Well, correction, not complaining. They're talking down about the prostitute that's on the street, because that's the obvious sins. The woman that's prostituting. And I dare say that most people that end up becoming prostitutes, it's not something that they would have chosen. But life and circumstances, events have made it where this has happened. And so they're prostituting probably to pay their rent, to stay alive, to feed their children. But what about people? What about women? You're out there being a prostitute and you're not even getting paid for it. You're sleeping with someone's husband, someone's boyfriend, or you've slept with enough men to build a clientele in your life. You're a prostitute as well, but you're not getting paid for that. Or some of you may be escorts. You've had sex for money. Maybe at some point in your life you had to do that. You're sleeping with Deacon Peppermints, Geritol, breath and all, doing what you can do so he can buy those red bottoms, or you can buy him. You're being a prostitute. There are many prostitutes that are in corporate and working and on the praise team. But yet they'll scoff at the woman that's on the corner, doing what she can do, or doing the best she can do, or being in a situation where she's had to do the worst thing she's ever wanted to do to feed her children. We're complaining about the 2-bit criminal, the man who's had to steal to feed his family because he doesn't have a job and his children's hungry and he has a young baby. He goes out there to steal, has to steal to feed his little brothers and sisters. And we're going to talk about that person. But we're not talking about the working and employed thief. Got a job, but still stealing products, turning off the camera at the job. They're thieves in corporate. They're rich and successful thieves that wear suit and ties and shake hands with dignitaries. What is my point? There are people who can judge and point the finger at people because they don't have the ability to cover up things, as perhaps a person who's more well off has the ability to do. But God sees it all. And sometimes there are things in our lives that we have had to do, and places that we've been in our lives may be different, some worse than others. But none of us are higher than the other. And there are some who have never done any of those things, but you're full of pride, full of hatred. You're so unhappy that even though you're rich and you have all these things, there's something in you that you'll still mistreat the housekeeper, the gardener. You're so bitter you can't even say hello. to someone on the street. You're so mean, you wreck your hotel room so that housekeeping will have to work. You're so miserable, you must find fault in everything because you're unhappy. God looks at the heart of people, and God sees the circumstances that leads people to make certain choices and decisions. And I believe He will, if they're willing to, lead them out of that dark place. But I just want to put everything in perspective today. I may not have been in your neighborhood today on the things that I addressed specifically, but the thing that I will say is all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. There's no one who's righteous. There's no one who is beyond, what is the word I'm looking for? There's no one who's beyond reproach. But it's only by the grace of God that some of us hasn't gone down a certain road. We may frown at the killer, and it is a horrible thing. But we must know that if it's not for God, we would go down that very road and do the same thing. The Bible says the heart of man is desperately wicked. Who shall know it? That means you don't know what's in it. It's just that there's certain degradations of your mind and heart that God, through His grace, has not allowed you to walk in. So be thankful for where you are. Pray for those who are less fortunate and don't have. Be humble. Be merciful. Be gracious. Be kind. And pray for others. God bless.